Welcome to Black Box, and today we're excited to present the movie Smile 2, 2024. The film opens 6 days after the last film, where Joel, Kyle Gallner, has spent the week tormented by the Smile entity after witnessing Rose kill herself. He finds the home of some drug dealers and approaches one at gunpoint.
Hey, what the fuck?
Joel walks the dealer into the house in front of the man's brother before Joel starts stabbing the dealer to death to try and remove the curse. The brother shoots at Joel, leading to an exchange of gunfire where the other man gets fatally shot by Joel. Since the witness who would have the curse passed on to them was not supposed to die, Joel starts freaking out. This is witnessed by another dealer, Louis Fregoli, Lucas Gage. Other associates of the brothers show up and chase after Joel. He runs into the street and gets struck by a car, and his bloody remains dragged across the pavement resemble a smile. We are introduced to pop superstar Sky Riley, Naomi Scott, as she goes for an interview with Drew Barrymore. While Sky's career has been highly successful, she has a history of substance and alcohol abuse, and is still recovering mentally from a car accident that she was in which killed her boyfriend, actor Paul Hudson, Ray Nicholson. Sky is managed by her mother Elizabeth, Rosemary DeWitt, and has also been estranged from her best friend Gemma, Dylan Gelula, since the incident. Sky is hoping that her upcoming tour will provide her with a much-needed comeback. After a meeting with her manager Darius, Raul Castillo, and assistant Joshua, Miles Gutierrez Riley, Sky gets a message from Louis. She goes to secretly get Vicodin from him for her back pains. When Sky goes to his apartment, Louis grabs her and holds a sword to her throat.
What the fuck, Louis?
He freaks out and says he didn't remember sending Sky a message, while trying to explain that something has been following him.
I'm sorry.
Moments later, Louis emerges from the next room screaming in a panic before an invisible force, the entity, enters his mouth. A creepy smile forms on Louis's face before he grabs a weight plate and smashes his face 3 times until the skin is hanging off his jaw. Sky vomits and almost calls 911 until she realizes the trouble she would get into being at a drug dealer's house. Sky continues to prepare for her tour while trying to shake off the horror of what she saw. She attends a meet and greet with fans, but one particular fan named Alfredo, Ivan Carlo, comes on too strong during the photo, grabbing Sky and telling her she's beautiful and wants to take her skin before security has him removed. Sky takes a breather and resumes the meet and greet, where a young girl gives her a creepy smile. She also gets an anonymous message from someone asking if she was at Louis's house. In her apartment, Sky thinks she hears a noise. She finds a t-shirt that she had signed for Alfredo, then finds what looks like his clothes, including his skid-marked underwear, all over the floor. It appears as though Alfredo is standing at the end of the dark hallway naked before he chases Sky. She runs to the door and is greeted by Gemma, whom she earlier called in an attempt to reconcile.
Oh, hi, you too.
Sky explains the incident with Louis, and Gemma agrees to stay the night with Sky. While trying to sleep, Sky talks to Gemma about the darkness she feels in herself even before the car accident, to which Gemma says it's because she's a horrible person. Sky then sees the entity as Gemma smiling at her before making a car honking noise. Sky wakes up in the morning and finds Gemma making breakfast. Sky and her dancers are rehearsing for the tour, when an image of Paul flashes before Sky and causes her to fall. She angrily accuses one of the dancers of throwing her off her balance. Later, she goes to her room and finds it trash. With her quick to blame Jonathan and accuse him of doing it.
Fuck you, Joshua! Fuck you! All right, that's enough.
But Elizabeth tells Sky that Joshua was with her all day. Sky realizes how she is starting to appear. Sky later goes to a charity event per Darius's invitation since he is hosting. While reading from the teleprompter, it appears to stall, so she improvises with a little speech that ends up becoming a rant about her personal life and struggles. The teleprompter goes back to normal until it makes Sky read Paul's name out loud.
Surely needs no introduction. Paul has... Why does it say that? That's not...
Shocking the audience and making her see Paul smiling and walking up to her. Sky yells at Paul to stop smiling before she snaps back to reality.
Stop smiling at me!
When an older lady tries to approach her with help, a bloodied Paul reappears to grab Sky, causing her to accidentally push the woman off the stage and onto a table, to the horror of everyone else. Sky flees the stage. Back at her home, Sky continues getting messages from the unknown number. They say they know it's Sky, and they know what she has been seeing and experiencing. They also send Sky a video that Lewis made on his phone where he described seeing the entity. The person invites Sky to meet them at a public location. Sky goes incognito to a bar where she meets Morris, Peter Jacobson, the man who was contacting her. He explains that his brother was a victim of the entity since it made him tear his own jaw off with a crowbar. Morris has seen the pattern of events unfold between other victims and was the one who found Lewis's body and subsequently got Sky's number off his phone. Morris suggests that, since he is a nurse, he can stop Sky's heart to kill her and then revive her before the entity can finish her itself. Sky rejects this idea and storms off as fans start to recognize and surround her. Sky attempts to relax at home by herself, but she sees the entity appear to her as her backup dancers, all grinning at her. They start to chase Sky around her apartment. Until they corner her and attack her, with one of them appearing to stick their arm down her throat and she blacks out. A flashback shows Sky with Paul on the night of the accident. They were both high off cocaine while Paul was driving, and he angered Sky by calling her a psycho. She grabbed the wheel and steered them off the road, where they crashed horribly. While she suffered severe injuries, Paul was already dead when Sky regained consciousness. She can only wail in agony. Sky wakes up in a hospital to undergo evaluation after being found unconscious in her apartment. Elizabeth is by her side, but Sky asks if they can cancel the tour while she is unwell. Elizabeth argues that if she cancels this tour after the last one, it will be the end of her career and the record label will sue them for millions. When Sky tells her that's all she cares about, the entity appears before Sky as Elizabeth, making her punch the mirror in the room and stab herself repeatedly, even gouging her eye out. Sky runs to the door, only to find the shard in her hand and her gown covered in blood. She sees what looks like her mother's actual dead body and begins to stall when Joshua tries to come in.
I need a second.
Sky tries to escape until Joshua spots the blood on her.
Hey, we need a doctor over here?
Doctors and guards try to help Sky, but she steals a guard's gun and flees.
Sky, what are you doing?
Get the fuck away from me!
On the streets, Sky runs into Gemma and forces her driver at gunpoint to give up the car so she can go find Morris. Gemma insists on going with her, but on the way, the real Gemma calls Sky, as it was the entity posing as Gemma the last few days. Sky takes control of the car and manages to get away safely. Sky meets Morris at an abandoned Pizza Hut to go into the freezer so she won't suffer permanent brain damage. As the process begins, Morris leaves the freezer, and the entity appears as Sky on the night of the accident. It attacks her. but she bites its thumbs off and grabs a syringe that is supposed to knock her out.
Fuck you.
Unfortunately, this doesn't stop the entity, and it locks Sky in the freezer.
You're not in control, Sky. Break a leg out there.
Moments later, Sky finds herself on stage on the first show of her tour. Elizabeth is still alive and in the crowd with Joshua and Darius and hundreds of fans. Sky sees the entity emerging from a shell of her own body, displaying its hideous face and enormous body before it crawls into Sky's mouth. She collapses in front of the fans before rising to her feet and smiling. She then proceeds to bash her head in with her microphone until it goes through her eye. All while her horrified fans can only watch. And the movie ends. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.